Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy P Funk thinking right out here in my lab, and I'm in the book. We working through it. We about to get some information about the Neteru and their temples. I got a breakdown for you on that. Then I'm gonna take you over to the Neteru and their relationship, how they all work together as one. Just like the mafia family, but they're in a different business. Let's talk about it. Rightism. 25 rules live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know, oh, is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to, oh yeah, be true. All right, right thinkers, the peaceful philosophy on the Neteru and their temples. I'm gonna break down the gods and what they represent pretty much. I'm seeing all of a sudden we bringing Egypt up. I'm gonna help you out understand what you're seeing. So let's talk about it. Then I'm gonna take you through the Neteru and their interrelationships, and then learning how to listen to the teachers. And I got 4 lessons I'm gonna break down for you. Oh, we got some good stuff. I'm about to teach. Get busy. Get comfortable. I'm about to do what I do for you. Let's start with right here. You see this diagram? Well, if I had that blue screen, I could do work. But this diagram, and this is the female side, this is the male side. You see on one side, you got the males over here. They got flags. One, two, three. Amen, Ra, Ptah. The women only got one, Nat. She represents for the female. Then you got me, Hurt, and Het Hadu up here. This signal here, this sign here, this is Haru, Het Hadu, the body of Haru, defeating who? Set, your evil uncle or your evil personality. He pulls together to be his best self to defeat his evil. So that's the concept. Let me see if I can break it down a little bit better for you. They say the sages of Kemet. When you hear that word Kemet, you know we talking about the real deal. Instituted a system, here we go, by which the teachings of spirituality, pay attention, were espoused and taught through a temple organization structure. The major divinities were assigned to a particular city. I showed you that in the last lesson. Anu had Ra. Uh, uh, Ra was in Anu. Then you had Memphis had Ptah, and then you had Thebes had Amun. Amun Ra Ptah. That's how they broke down. So they had their own towns that they ran. And that divinity, which of a group of divinities, became what they called the patron divinity or divinities of that particular city. Also, the priests and the priestess of all the temples at that time, the temple were in charge of seeing to the welfare of the people in that district, as well as maintaining the traditions and the disciplines of the tradition that's based on a particular divinity that was being worshipped. They took care of the people, they educated, they enlightened them, and they saw to it that they got what they needed. So that's when the churches in the community, you got 4 churches in the same community, and they their pastor living in none of the communities. But he come there every week and get that money and do his thing and going back to his suburban house. Okay, it's a business. Beware of that. They're not loyal. Okay. So the original concept, again, the original concept of traditions is based on a particular divinity that's being worshipped. So the original concept of Neter became elaborated through the theologies. Hello, Christian, Muslims, and Jews, y'all practice theology. Everybody does. Of the various traditions. Pay attention. This is where you're going to get right. Watch this. A dynamic expression of the teachings emerged, which through maintaining the integrity of the teachings expressed nuances of variation in the perspective on the teachings to suit what the needs of the varying kinds of personality of the people of different locales, different strokes for different folks. I knew Ra was their God. And what's that? uh I'm into God. And in Memphis, you got Ptah. Everybody had their own thing. But the whole goal was the same thing, to get you to him. All right. In the diagram above I just showed you, the primary or the main divinities were donated by what? The Neter symbol for God with the flag. You got three of them, Amen Ra Ptah on the male side. Female, you only got one. Nat or Nat, Neith. All right. So, but the house structure represents the temple for that particular divinity and the interconnectedness and the connections with the other temples are all based on the original scripture statements espoused by the temples that linked the divinities of their temple with the other divinity. They didn't say, my God, better y'all, my big. No, no, no. They was all three the same. So this means that the divinities should be viewed not as separate or going against each other, entities operating independently. No, he split himself into three, but rather a family member who are in the same business, just like the mafia. But the business here together, in essence, is in what? Enlightening society, not ripping them off. Okay, but albeit through different variations of worship, but in the names, form, and forms, but the expressions of the divinity, etc. Ultimately, all the divinities are referred to as Neteru. Why? Meaning more than one. And they all said to be what? Emanation from the ultimate supreme one. That's why. Neter, God. Stick one. Neteru, all those who come after him. Thus, the teachings from any of the temples will all lead you to what? The understanding of the others. And these all lead back to the source. Religion's job is to get you to God. That's the intent. That's the purpose. To get you, linking you back to the source. How this working out for y'all? So, with the yoga philosophy, same intentions, and with the highest divinity, thus, the teachings within any of the temple systems would lead any of the followers to attain what we know spiritual enlightenment or great awakening. The Egyptians called it Nihas. Christ and Christians call it Christhood. That's why I get on my last nerve. But again, now let's talk about the Neteru and their interrelationships. Meaning, this right here. I had a bigger book, had a bigger thing for you. I had the chart right here. But you got, this is a whole, if this was a bone, this is a lot of meat. Okay? Now I'm gonna try to break this meat down for you bit by bit. It's a bit though, at one time it's a bit. But right here, you see here it says the Anu theology. And what that means is everything down here is from the Anuian theology, who Ra is the God. This is Ra, the three stages of Ra. Kepri in the morning, Ra at noon, and Ra Tem at the night going around into the sunset. And then it starts creation. He put Mayat, that's Tahuti. That's the mind of God. He described, he keeps track of everything. Then you got Mayat, she's in charge of what? Duality. And from her comes the duality of air, Shu, moisture, tough, Nut, Geb, earth, Nut, heaven. Everything is opposite. Everything is in pairs. You see where we're going? And after that, Nut and Geb created Asar, Aset, Set, Netet, and even the fifth son is Haru Ur. That's you, great. That's you, being enlightened. That's you knowing yourself. And your job here as the offspring from Haru and Aset is to know yourself in the flesh, become master of oneself, and fulfill your potential of what greatness. You're born to be great. Excuse me. And the kicker is, it ain't just one. All of us are. It's equal distribution, okay? But the difference is some will fulfill their potential and some won't. There we know that. That's what we got the reincarnation concept for. But that's just the Anuyan theory. I got 6 lessons that I'm going to break down for you individually. But this is the start. With the Anuyan, they knew Ra was their God. And he went over here to the Ptah, Sekhmet, and Nefertim. That's the Hetkaput, Heliopolis, okay? That where Ptah is the god. His family, his wife is Sekhmet. His son is Nefertim. The guy loaded his plant with his mouth, his finger to his mouth. And then the third one in Waset, the Theban theology, that's where Amun. Okay? That's him. Okay? And they got their philosophy where he's the king, he's the god. Okay? And his wife is Mut, and his son is Kansu, the moon god. Okay? Good stories. Each one got their own story, life lessons. But that's what I teach. So let me get this breaking down. I just showed you, they call it the Paute or the Neteru. It means the company of God and goddesses of our ancient Commission concepts. I broke that down for you. Now I'm going to take it down. The same supreme being, Neter, one, okay, is what we call the winged disc right here, at the top of the scale. That's the spirit of Haru right there. He got Haru on this side, Haru on that side. But this is the all-powerful, that's the all-powerful side. All-encompassing power is what we call the winged, the all-encompassing, transcendental divinity, God, the ultimate. The spirit, who I said that's in me and you, in the early history was called Haru. Okay? It wasn't male or female, but when later on they presented it as a male, and then his counterpart was Het Haru, okay, or we know as Hathor. But again, but in the physical universe, the flesh, the spirit made flesh, he's the son of Asar, he's the original one, we are the offspring from that. And the physical universe is in with the Haru, which Haru lives, is called Het Haru, or the house of Haru, physical body. This divinity, Haru, is also the Nun, or the primeval substratum, from which all matter is composed. God never changes. It changes form and structure and name, but it's still the one same God. But the various divinities and the material world, universe, are composed from this primeval substratum, elements that put it all together. Neter is actually androgynous. The spirit don't have to be male or female. I gave that lesson already. So, and Haru, which is the spirit that's in me and you, is related as, in this area, male in the aspect so that androgyny. However, Haru, in the androgynous aspect, they call him the great he-she. Half woman, half man. And it gives rise to what we call the solar principle. And this is seen in what both male and female divinities. India, Krishna, same way. Okay, one had with the Ashahari, whatever her name is, yeah, it shows you half and half. Okay, but the image above provides an idea of what we call the relationship between the divinities. Once you understand, and all of them have their own rights, a story that you can learn and manifest and understand. And the divinities of the 3 main Netarian spiritual systems, right there, not belief system, spiritual systems and traditions. You got the Anuyan theology. You got that one, okay. And you got the theology of Wasanian theology. That's where Ptah is in control. And then you got the Theban theology is where Amun is in control. But the Anuyan, they had Ra as the god, Amun Ra. So then you got Ptah from the Heka Ptah, the Memphite theology with the Shavaka stone, he broke everything down. He created himself from a thought and a idea and uttered himself into existence. They all have a different concept and attribute that make them the one. But the traditions are composed of the companies or the group of gods and goddesses, aka elements that makes the world, universe. But their actions and the teachings and their interactions with each other and with the human beings will provide you with insight into your nature as well as that of human existence and creation itself. These is life lessons you need to learn. And the lines that you see on there indicated direct scriptural relationships, and it labels also indicate that some divinities from one system are the same in another. Okay, you got Asar, he's Asar, and he's Asar Sokar in the other system. So they all keep the identity to a degree. Haru Pakar, that's Haru the baby. Okay, Haru is Haru grown, the warrior. Haru Burdette, all that good stuff. But these is all changes. So, and it tells you here, I'm about to get to it in 1 second. This is attested to by the scriptures themselves in direct statements like these that's found in the Haru, our equivalent to which I call the Bible. And it's a book of knowledge, information, myth to teach you how to be your best self, how to get to God. Okay, that was the goal. All right. Chapter 4, verse 17. Listening to the teachings. Okay. Listening. Mishkert. It says listening to feel the ears. Listen attentively. I found that most people talk but don't listen. They want you to listen to them because they're going to be talking. But when you're talking, they're not listening. They're just trying to get you to stop talking so they can go back to talking and expect you to listen to them. And they wonder why they don't learn nothing. I'm a good listener, attentively. I give everybody the right to be heard. I like to talk, but also am I hearing other people? Well, that's their right too. So, what should your ears be filled with? Not BS or wax, but the sages of the Shitat Neter philosophy had enjoined what they called the Shimshu Netters. Those are the followers of the Netterian concept. And the initiates, or we call aspirants, should listen to what? Wisdom, words, teaching of net wisdom of the Netterian traditions. And we have a choice. You have a choice. I'm about to break it down for you. And the choice is the Netterian traditions are these are the myths related to the gods and goddesses, but they contain the basic understanding of who they are and what they represent and how they relate to human beings and to the supreme being. The myths allow you to be connected to the divine if practiced and understood correctly. This is the concept. Any aspirant, you can choose any one of the 5 main Netterian traditions. Is really 6. Okay, so let's go. Shita Anu. Now, there's reason it's 6 because you're going to have Anu and Asar pretty much interwork together. That's what it says. Some going to be the same on everyone, and I just noticed that. So, Shita Anu. Anu means the first place. They represented by Ra, sun god tradition. And you might want to practice Shitat Menifer. That's the Patel tradition. Liking that one too. Mastered that. Then you got Shitat Waset. That's the teaching of Amun, the hidden one. You know I love that. That's my man. That's my favorite. Okay, yeah. But you have to master these traditions by studying, learning, and understanding them, and then implementing them in your life. You can live them, yeah. And the next 3, you got Shitat Netrite. That means the female goddess. We ran a matriarchal society before the white man came and took over because he couldn't handle women being in control. So now we ran a patriarchal society and we've been damned ever since. Women are better leaders. Okay. Why? They're more touched with God. They're more compassionate. They're more spiritual. Okay. They ain't quick to do what man do because he's logic and reason and egotistical. So women are too to a degree, but they got a little better control over it. All right. So the next one is Shitat Asar. That's not the Anuian, but it's pretty much the same as the Anuian, because they still use Asar as God in the form of God this time instead of Ptah, okay, or Ra. The last one, Shita Atun. This is the leader who became the first gossip, the first pharaoh who thought about mine. He killed all the guys, just had one. The son just, he called it Atun. So I'll break that down for you too. He was called the heretic pharaoh, Akhenaten. You ever heard that name before? They called him the heretic pharaoh. And he was a learned man. He's very smart and intelligent. He was a high priest. So he knew what he was doing. He figured out, or he saw how they were ripping him off, so to speak, hosing him. So he's not. We break our stuff down. We got one. He pissed everybody off. So when he died, they couldn't go back to that old way fast enough. People, I love you. But if you think religion ain't a business, you ain't thinking right. Spirituality is more God based than religion. That's all I'm saying. I'm spiritual. What? I believe, I trust, but I practice what I'm learning so that I got a better understanding perspective about God from my own experience. Not what somebody telling me and not what some Bible claim. I hear people talk. But the Bible says the Bible is for the they and those. They say and those people. That's who the hell are them? I got a lesson for that coming up. All right, right thing. Let me get you out of here. I got to go. So in closing, may you all live to be 100. Me 100 miles a day. So I know that my right thinkers now who understand the inner workings of the Neteru and their temples and the inner relationships have passed away. I'll be right back with more teachings. We're going to start with Shita Anu. That's the Anuian tradition. And their God is Amun Ra. I'll be right back.